Well, no verdict on the first day of deliberations in the Aaron Thomas trial.
The jury spent about 2 hours deliberating after closing arguments wrapped up. NBC 10's Gabrielle Caracciolo following it live from court in South County. Gabrielle?
The jurors spent 19 days inside the courthouse listening to this case. They have a lot to consider. The testimony of 25 witnesses and nearly 200 pieces of evidence. But attorneys agree this case is really going to boil down to questions of credibility. Who does the jury believe more, these former student athletes or their former coach?
He's not a pioneer, he's a predator.
Prosecutors say the testing program Aaron Thomas created for North Kingstown student athletes was a front for getting them naked alone in his office.
He's someone who used somewhat legitimate testing as a cover and as a guise to administer his own perverted tests under the guise of legitimacy for his own sexual gratification.
In closing arguments showing the jury pictures of the student athletes as high school freshmen.
He didn't touch those grown men up there that you met. It was these boys.
Pushing back on the defense's argument that the testing program was voluntary.
There's that trust lingering in the back of their head. Well, he must have a reason for asking me to do this. His reason is simple. He wants to be alone and touching naked boys. That's his reason, but he can't put that on a consent form.
And working to undermine the credibility of Thomas's testimony, emphasizing how he lied to police about what happened.
When Thomas took that stand and said, I know I've lied so many times, but today I'm under oath and I take that seriously. And then he told you, I'm here, I take ownership. That's what I do. Since when? He walked himself right to the line of criminality. Admitted that everything these boys said about the test, the pinches, the nakedness, all true. But the moment it steps him over the line into a criminal charge, no way.
Now, Thomas's defense gave their closing arguments yesterday. They maintain that these tests were legitimate, and they say they weren't sexual in nature, so it doesn't rise to that level of child molestation or sexual assault. If the jury does find him not guilty of those two felonies, they can also consider a lesser charge of misdemeanor battery. Live in Wakefield, Gabrielle Caracciolo, NBC 10 News.